morning, everybody. Welcome to Out of Bed. My name is Topher.
And I'm Matt.
And this is our podcast where we talk to our friends about what gets them out of bed and what they're passionate about and what they're doing while in quarantine. And today we have a very special guest. And I forgot to ask her this before we started. Vivian, how do you pronounce your last name, or have you taken your husband's last name? I didn't know which.
Pronounced Truong, and I did not take his name.
Truong. Okay. I love that I know that now because I was worried about that. So our guest is Vivian Truong. Vivian, hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm good. I have to update Frankie real quick. Frankie, our postmate Janine is arriving soon, and they will meet you outside. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I swear 1918 didn't have quarantine this good.
I know. Isn't it great? Yeah. I changed desks this week, and it's very shaky. So I'm not pumped about that, but
and you're not wearing headphones. Last week you told me to wear headphones, and now I'm not wearing headphones, and it feels like that scene in 21 Jump Street where they're like, no, 2 straps, 1 strap.
I did want you guys to wear headphones because it does sound better, but I wanted Frankie to be a part of it because last week I was like, oh, you can pop in, and then I put the headphones on, and she didn't pop in because she couldn't hear anything that was happening. And so now I can have her as a captive audience member, and she can hear you guys as well. Hopefully my audio doesn't suck that bad, but we'll see.
No, it sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay, good. So before we get to Vivian, I'm going to have you sit there for a second, okay?
Can I run and get something?
Yes, you run and get something, and Matt and I will chat. Matt, how have you been? How was your week?
It was good. It was a little busy.
Mm-hmm.
I cooked a lot. I got out for walks.
Nice.
It doesn't feel like prison, which is good.
That's good.
This whole quarantine thing, but it's good. It's my kids keep me busy. They're on spring break. They decided to throw a stuffed animal at a fan, and then that fan spit the stuffed animal into a blind, and then the blind and the curtain broke. So that was awesome. That was the first day of spring break.
Nice.
So that was good.
Wow, that is impressive. Oh.
Yeah, you got to get yourself a kid.
Frankie's just shaking her head. Whew.
Have you thought about how there's going to be quarantine babies, just like there were the boomers?
Yeah, that is very weird to me. It reminds me of the Super Bowl commercials that talk about the Super Bowl babies. Like if your team wins, like that city has like a bunch of babies. Which
is that true?
I don't know if it's true or not, but they like talk about it as a thing, like Super Bowl babies as a thing. And then for WrestleMania, they did talk, like there was one year where The Rock came out and he was like, you're all going to go home and make some WrestleMania babies. And I was just like, what? I don't know. You guys haven't sat through WrestleMania before, but WrestleMania is like 20 million hours. And I feel like making a baby is just like the last thing you want to do at midnight after all of that. It's exhausting.
I've actually thought about this whole baby thing during the quarantine. And it's like, I thought about it so much that I thought there will be a lot of quarantine babies, and they should get their own theme song, like the Muppet Babies or something like that. Change the lyrics about being locked inside and everything's kind of weird.
Can you compose the Quarantine Babies theme song for us right now? What are you thinking?
Quarantine babies, they'll make your dreams difficult.
Wow. That's a bleak outlook on kids. Woo.
When the world looks kind of weird and you wish that you were outside. See, I can't go anymore.
That's good. No, that was great. That was impressive.
Quarantine babies. Woo!
Wow, thank you for that. So I don't know where to go from there. Vivian,
Nope. Sorry, it went off the rails.
what gets you out of bed?
My corporate job.
Ooh. I like this. Tell us all about your corporate job, because we have had a lot of people that talk about their art or their kids or God, and none of them talk about their boring corporate jobs. So please tell us all about. I added boring. That was mean. I'm sorry.
No, it's not that savory. I work for Care First. You see it when you drive past on 95. And I am a data architect. And I only went into it because I'd gotten my master's in health information technology, which to me seemed like a lucrative way to get a secure job, which right now it is. I never thought that I would have looked for a job that would give me security than right now when I'm considered essential.
Yeah.
And we're working from home, and we just had a town hall, and our CEO was like, we're good on reserves, even if our customers can't pay us right now, so we shouldn't be expecting layoffs. It's almost like not lucky, definitely blessed, hashtag, in some way. No, it's just something I go to so that I can have fun after 5 o'clock.
Nice. Well, that's cool. Do you find purpose from it at all?
I wish I could say that it gives me that yummy altruistic sense of helping people and being in the healthcare field. It's definitely more so, I don't know, I've always wanted a stable, secure job so that I could fuel my family later. And that's everything. When I went to school, I just studied so that I could fuel my family later. That's kind of just how, even if I don't like it, as long as it's not a terrible toxic environment, I'll just do it. That's fine. I can't really complain, especially not right now when people are losing their jobs.
So your motivation every day is to get up for your job?
To get up for my family. That's a more prettier answer than my corporate job.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've felt that I used to work at a place that consumed my every waking moment. And when I got out of that atmosphere, it was almost like I was reborn in some way. I didn't quite know how to exist outside of that for a while. And then I kind of felt all right, I'm antsy, I got to do this thing. But it's weird to sort of feel like your job sort of defines you in some ways. For me, it did, but I don't think it does now. It's just I feel like I've compartmentalized things.
Oh, for 100%. And I think I learned that a year into it when I realized I don't think this makes me happy, but it gives me the money so I can pay my bills, I can do the fun things I want after work. And it took me a long time to realize that your job doesn't have to define you. What do you really want? Do you want to be a career person? Great. But what do you really want? I just want a family. So this is what I have to do to get that. And I live for the weekend. And I promised myself I would never work a job where I'm on call, because I used to do that. And I just wanted a job where I could turn my brain off and check my hat at the door at 5.
I appreciate that. I think that's kind of where I was at as well, because I was similar to Matt, where I was at a job that was kind of consuming everything that I was doing. And I love that job, and I felt a lot of purpose at that job, but I had a lot of things outside of work that I wanted to do. And that job didn't really provide me the necessary funds to do that or time to do that. So I can definitely see where you're coming from, because I think especially I don't know about Matt as much, but I feel like Vivian, for our generation, a lot of people, our parents told us, you can be what you want to be, and you can follow your dreams and this kind of thing, and you should like never go to a job that you hate, or like a 9 to 5 job or whatever. Like there was like 9 to 5 jobs in cubicles were looked down upon, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that there isn't anything wrong with doing that and then finding joy and fulfillment outside of that.
Yeah. My parents always said, if you put hard work and effort into it, you'll always be happy because you're doing your best.
I like that. That's
It's a little
better.
It's quite evolved as immigrant Asian parents.
What you said Asian parents? I know where you're from, but where are your parents from?
They're from Vietnam.
Vietnam. Okay, cool. How has that like influenced your job search at all? I mean, like you said, there is like a particular field that you felt like they would push you towards and they didn't. Like, what's that like?
Well, I was supposed to be a dentist, so much that in high school I shadowed my own dentist every day of the summer.
Holy.
And yeah, like I logged hours, all, the whole 9 yards. And then I went into UMBC as a biology major, and then I cried every morning. And then I said, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
My mom, who was midway through cancer, and she was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, no. And then I had to find something to make all my credits that I had already taken in the biology field, so that I could still graduate in 4 years. And then I ended up doing public health, and here I am now. And it all worked out. And then I got my master's for free, and my parents, I think they thought that I was going to fail them because I wasn't going to be a doctor, as is the trope.
Yeah.
But then I went and I got my master's for free, and then I got a job right out of grad school, and they're just like, fine, you did it.
They like begrudgingly approve of you.
Like, fine, you made it out all right.
Oh, the places you should have been.
Well, now they're pushing my younger sister into pharmacy school, and she's like almost done that. I think she hates her life, but whatever.
So did your parents want you to be a dentist, or where did the
Yeah. I think they just wanted, again, the stability, and they saw that our family dentist life, shout out to White Marsh Family Dentistry,
Frankie just fist bumped.
He seemed to live a relaxing life. Like, he could make his own hours, and he could go on vacation whenever he wanted. You're not on call. It was just this like stable life where you could feel your family and not stress. And I think that's all they wanted. And so now that I have that, albeit not as much as a dentist, and I think they realized it's fine. The kids will be fine.
Do you have any like lingering passion for teeth?
No, but it does bother me when Neil forgets to brush his teeth in the morning. I know what plaque looks like.
Neil, you need to get on that, man. Jeez.
Man, so like as a first generation college grad, so like for me, I was a first generation college grad. My parents just constantly like said when I was growing up, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. There was no sense of direction though. They were blue collar people that had just worked under the assumption that you got to go to college to be better than we were.
Yeah.
And like, so, I mean, I had my focus. They never like steered me from what I wanted to do. But they never like gave input either. They just sort of stood back because they didn't know this sounds bad, but they didn't know what success looked like. They didn't have like a roadmap for success other than college was supposed to like hand you like the golden path at that time. So like I came out of college in the early 2000s before like the bubble burst and all that stuff, and everything was feeling good. I can't imagine like millennials, you guys like coming out like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, I think
That's
that
right.
I think that there was definitely like a gap of time where like I first got a job where I worked with my degree, and I felt like that was what I was supposed to do. And I saw a lot of my friends doing things that had nothing to do with their degree.
Yeah.
And finding lots of joy and fulfillment in their lives. And I was like, oh, like maybe like I'm grateful for my college experience and I love that like Mount St. Mary's for life. Woo, yeah, like that's cool. But I do think we put this emphasis on college that isn't necessarily today's world the most applicable thing. But I think there's a lot of usefulness and a lot of amazing things that come out of it.
Oh, I 100% agree. I was just talking about this with someone, how one of my friends, he came out as a mechanical engineer, and now he's working for Amazon doing software engineering. He had just taken a bunch, like studied for certificates since then.
Mhm.
And now he's like making buku bucks. And it's just because, I don't know, not the college, the expensive college is not accessible.
Mhm.
And it shouldn't be that unequal for people who just can't, like, who are smart as heck but can't pay for it.
Yeah.
I think certificates are honestly the way to go for a lot of things because they're specific, they're concentrated. It's like a shot of exactly what you want to do and exactly what you want to learn for way, way less and way less time.
Yeah.
And they're so much more applicable. I think with grad school, and not the program that I was in, but other grad schools I've heard, there's an issue of classicism because, especially in public health, where you get a person who has all these letters at the end of their name, MPH, PhD, all these things.
Mhm.
And they now have the accreditation to call the shots that affect people's lives and affect people's health. But they can only say that because they have all these letters, but they don't actually know what they're doing. They might be a politician or a public policy major or something like that, but they have the health letters and now they're suddenly, I believe you, right? And it's just, there's a lot that goes on with that. We don't have to keep talking about this.
You can,
But
hey, this is your episode, Vivian. I told you we can ramble about whatever you want to ramble about. If you want to like just go in on the flaws in the American university system, let's do it. I'm fine with that.
I think that's all I had to say on that. It's just like,
Okay.
you
That's
don't
good.
have to get a higher degree and pay all them. And this is one thing for anyone who's listening. If you're planning on going to grad school, find every possible way to get it for free because you can. Like, you should not be paying for grad school. You're getting robbed. That's all I'm going to say about that. Email me if you have a question.
And I'm going to say, as somebody who works at a college, go to Towson University.
This is a big old plug for Towson.
Yeah.
What do you do at 5 o'clock? You talked about like you're working till 5, and then after 5, that time is yours. So what does Vivian do at 5?
On a good day, I'll probably hang out. So I work in Canton.
Mhm.
I'll like go hang out, meet up with a friend, walk along the water, and then I'll get home, and then I like to make dinner, pretty elaborate dinners, and then I don't know, just chill, hang out with Neil.
That's perfect. So Matt likes to barbecue and grill. So
Ooh, I'm asking for a grill for my birthday this summer, especially if we're stuck in this. If I have a grill, that's all I want to do.
I got a smoker at the age of 40, and it is the best purchase I've ever made in my life. I didn't know how to use a smoker, and the last 2 years I've thrown myself into it and like made brisket and ribs and all that kind of stuff. Yes, that face.
That face.
I love meat.
Oh, let me tell you, go get like a green egg or a Traeger smoker, which looks like a grill, but operates off a wood smoke.
The Traeger ones are expensive.
I heard of another brand recently. I'm gonna look it up. I heard of another one.
You can get them for about $330, $340. I think mine was like about $450.
Okay.
So like I got them like the second level. I think they also have one that's a tailgater that you can take with you. It has wheels.
That is what I'm going for here. That's all I want, is to show up at my friends' houses with the grill.
This whole thing was a ruse to get you on here so I could sell for Traeger and then tag Traeger on Instagram.
Sponsor. Thank you.
totally like it was like I didn't even cook before I was like 35 years old. Like,
Interesting.
and now I do it
Sad,
all the
what I
time.
would say, but interesting.
Oh,
As you
like
say.
totally. Like being married, I said to my wife, I was like, oh, I would never have a smoker if I wasn't married. I would never be cooking if I wasn't married. I'd still be if I was single. I'd be like getting carry out every night.
Okay, what is that about? Because I lived with 3 boys before I was married, and my girlfriends and I had this theory that, because at the time, well, I guess we're still in our 20s, but they're just like, these 20 or something year old guys just aren't cutting it for us. Like, maybe we need to foray into the 30s and ups. And then I lived with a 31-year-old who got carry out every day. I never saw him cook once. And he's like, oh, I can cook. I was like, what can you make? And he's like, cereal. What is that about? Like, how do you plan to feed your children?
I will say I did not cook until I got married, really. I knew how to cook. Like, I could make things, but I didn't have that, like, judgmental eye, like, judging me if I went to McDonald's all the time.
Like I just want to go back for a second. I just want to have somebody come in the room when you were talking to that person and just like for somebody to go, yeah, he does cook a damn good cereal.
Frankie knows I can make more than cereal. And she doesn't like judge me for like wanting to not cook, but like I feel like because she's in the house now, like because we live together now, I think I want to like impress her more.
I like that.
So like
Drink to that.
I will make like my basically all we make is Tex-Mex, really. Like anything we're making is like variation of Tex-Mex. Like breakfast we're making like breakfast tacos, or it's like huevos rancheros, or for like dinner we're having tacos, or lunch we're having like leftover taco meat. Like that's really all it is. But I think that I don't have anybody like holding me accountable if I'm not married.
Okay. I feel like Neil was kind of the same way because he can cook, but he would cook really basic, simple, quick. I think it's just like how a lot of the guys I know cook simply for sustenance.
Yeah.
Where just like to fill your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I mean, I didn't get married until I was 33. So like I would go to my job, then leave my job and go, I don't know how to make anything, and these people are making something and I could pay them, and like then it'll be done and then I can do what I want.
And you're stimulating the economy.
Like but now I'll come home and like tonight I mean granted I was already home, but like I cooked grilled chicken and made it Tex-Mex barbecue style mix of that. And like I never would have thought ever to do that 10 years ago. Never. Like nobody like when you have somebody else holding you accountable, it sort of raises you up and like sort of makes you look around and go, oh, it can be better. It definitely can be better.
Yeah.
My wife said she was the person who liked to cook when we got married, but I probably make 5 out of the 7 meals a week, like at least at dinner time.
Nice.
So it's good
Frankie
to have somebody.
Like nodded. That's kind of what happens now. Is I do the majority of cooking. Especially
you guys
now.
seem to be doing well for yourselves.
Yeah, well, especially now because I'm like most people are working from home, but excuse me, I'm not even doing that. Like I'm not even working right now, so I'm just at home while she's working, which makes me feel even more guilty because she's like, doing shit and I'm playing like Skate 3. But so I feel like, oh well, I guess I need to be productive in some way, and so I'll do the dishes, or I'll do some laundry, or I will cook dinner because it's easy. Although tonight we ordered P.F. Chang's. Frankie made me a little bowl here, which I'm not gonna eat yet because it's rude to eat in front of your guests when they don't have any food. So
did you get any bang bang shrimp?
No, we got fried rice and crab wontons and
lettuce wraps.
Yes, we got lettuce wraps and we got pot stickers as well.
Okay. Yeah, you can't do P.F. Chang's without the lettuce wraps.
Yeah. Right now, free delivery on Postmates for certain restaurants. So
Season 2, but we're still digging for sponsors.
exactly, yeah. P.F. Chang's, call us. So Vivian, you said you make elaborate meals. Can we get like a menu? Like, what are some of your favorite dishes to make?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Can we narrow the question down?
Okay, fine. Let me see here. I'm gonna go to your Twitter because your Twitter is rife with food opinions and food polls.
Not my opinions, the public's.
And you retweet them? So do you retweet people or?
No, I'll post opinion polls on like, what's your favorite Dorito? That one got heated. It was neck and neck between blue, I think it was
Cool Ranch?
blue and purple.
Very good. Right now, there's 23 minutes left in this one. Which pasta? You've got a pasta battle going on.
Oh, what's the result on that?
So there's penne vodka, there's carbonara, there's scampi, fettuccine alfredo, and then a double header of tortellini and ravioli.
There's a right answer with that double header.
Right now, scampi is winning 33%.
Oh.
Penne and carbonara have 25%. Fettuccine has 17%. And then tortellini and ravioli are 50-50.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like to say what the one that I like is because I don't want to sway my audience.
Okay.
But there is a right answer.
How much time is left?
There's 23 minutes left, so it's gonna come out. This episode's gonna come out after the results. So give us your answer.
I'm just pulling up the Twitter account.
Yeah. Matt, if so, you can follow her. It's at VITRU1.
Hold on, I'm old. VITRU and the number 1.
Let your voice be heard.
Yeah.
Express your civic duty to vote.
I don't think this is you. Let's see. Vitru?
Is it Tammy too?
Yeah, Tammy too from Parks and Rec.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, the answer is scampi and raviolis.
Okay. All right.
So I'm very proud of the first poll. I'm nervous about that second one.
I will say that I did vote carbonara and tortellini.
Tortellinis?
You look real upset about this right now.
Raviolis are so good. They're pockets. Tortellinis are like little wrinkled ears.
Look, you have to understand, I'm married to an Italian woman. I'm not even really allowed to prefer one over the other. Like, I'm just supposed to like them all. Like, I'm just supposed to love pasta, which I do now.
I was actually going to, this would have been such a stretch, but I was starting to worry that I was running out of things to do during quarantine. And it's like, who do I know might have a pasta maker that I could borrow from the porch? And I was gonna call you guys, but then they're like, don't go anywhere unless it's essential. This is essential. I have to make pasta.
So here's the thing. We do not have a pasta maker. If we did have a pasta maker, it would have been very essential that we bring it to you.
I would have made a whole heck of pasta. But anyway, so I've been simmering about that first question.
That's good.
I do a lot of Asian food.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of like American kind of rustic homey dishes.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Like the last thing I did that I really loved was it was like a ginger scallion cast iron chicken with kale and rice that was cooked in the schmaltz.
That is very elaborate.
And I like the way it sat in the pan. Like I like the way it looks. Mm-hmm. So it's, I don't know. It's
You
more
do
for my own fun.
You do take good. I will say you take good food picks.
It's because the house that we live in has excellent lighting besides the dining table.
Mm.
That's the key.
I'm a big fan of this cheesy grits and eggs that you just did recently.
Oh, all the things that you love. A
Yeah.
runny egg yolk, some cheese.
I
But
think
can we
it's
talk about grilling meats again?
Yes,
Yes.
please. Let's go to grilling meats.
Okay,
Do
so
you have a favorite meat? Like, go.
yes, ribeye.
Nice.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, how do you do your steak? Do you do it on the grill? Because like I'm not as experienced doing steak on a grill yet because I don't have one.
Yeah, I do it on the grill.
Okay.
Usually do it like on a medium heat for about 4 or 5 minutes on each side, and then like set it up on the top layer for another like 4 or 5 minutes, maybe on slightly lower to let it go.
And then close it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think all the way I have it closed. Very rarely do I open it. Very
Okay.
rarely. Just let it get its marks on, let it get seared, all that kind of stuff. And
Do you butter it with any fat or anything?
no, usually I'll just throw in some rub, like some Montreal seasoning or something like that.
Okay.
Sometimes I might marinate it a little bit beforehand, maybe give it a little marinade beforehand, and then just throw in some rub before it hits there, just to see what happens. Montreal seasoning has never steered me wrong. And I've turned some like pieces and made like cheesesteaks out of the rib.
Ooh, nice.
I even
kind
did
of
that with
feel
a
like,
brisket.
oh, I love brisket. Oh my gosh. Wow,
Yeah, on
brisket.
Super Bowl Sunday, I smoked onions and I smoked the brisket. So then I like took buns and like put those on a cast iron skillet. So I toasted those on the iron with some butter, and then ran the cheese over top of everything when it was all set. So
That sounds wonderful.
just kept it real basic, let the flavor of the meat take over. I had like, I do like basically a salt and a black pepper and just let it go for like 8, 9, 10 hours. Usually it's just a brisket flat, something like that, and just let it go.
Oh, I'm loving this.
I love how like she's like in awe of it.
Wait, for one of our wedding gifts, we got the Lodge cast iron griddle pan, the sheet.
Yeah.
And so what I brought it to my friend's house at their river house, and they've got a grill. So I plopped that on there, and I was just like going all day long. Oh, it's wonderful.
Nice.
But because I don't have a grill, I'm a big fan of steak on the cast iron because I like the sear that it gives.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a purist in that I'm a big fan of the Ramsay steak, where he just like lets it go, butter, garlic, rosemary. Doesn't take much time at all.
I'll have to try that.
I've become a big proponent of the Gordon Ramsay eggs.
The eggs. Are you talking like on the heat, off the heat?
On the heat, off the heat, yeah.
Oh!
I don't do anything else. Like I'm not like putting like scallions or chives in there or
I'll
like
do the chives.
Anything fancy. But I'm very like a big proponent. Like you need to do the on the heat, off the heat.
I can't eat eggs any other way now, and it's totally worth it. And then I also found out that if you don't have creme fraiche, not everyone has creme fraiche in their fridge. You can do like really good butter and sour cream, and it stops the cooking, and you still get that rich, like unctuous, eggy. Oh my gosh!
No,
it doesn't look great, but it's good.
I think my method for cooking most things is just use too much butter.
Yeah,
and it worked pretty well for me so far. At least I like to think so.
Yeah, garlic and butter pretty much are like my like just toss them in, see what happens.
Yeah, totally.
Did you know that the Queen doesn't let garlic in any of her recipes because she hates it? So in all she hates garlic.
I knew I hated the royal family. This is ridiculous.
So like every meal that's made out of Buckingham Palace or what is it, like it doesn't have garlic in it.
That's heartbreaking.
I know.
That's sad.
I feel bad for Prince Charles. He grew up in a garlicless home.
I feel bad for like the UK.
Yeah.
I'm sure he got somewhere though when he was like 20, 21, he went and traveling somewhere and like somebody brought him something with garlic on it and he was like, what's this?
Pepperidge, what is that brand? Texas Toast garlic bread from the frozen section at Giant. That's what he was presented. And he was like,
Oh, yeah.
wow.
He's like, whoa.
Nobody told me about this.
I know exactly what you're talking about too, Vivian. Like, I'm
It's
picturing
like this
the box.
thick.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's beautiful. I think the big it's a very popular meme to say that white people don't like seasoning. Um, but there was like once all of this started, everybody started joking like, I'm seeing that all the meat's gone, but none of all the seasoning's still here. You can tell who's hoarding the meat now."
Man, I can't live without seasoning or like stuff that'll just like give it pop. I can't
Yeah,
do
definitely.
like the stereotype with white people is also mayonnaise, and I can't do mayonnaise. Like never.
I just got into it.
Okay,
because
yeah.
I was in the same boat.
Mayo gets a bad rep. I will say that it is used too much on too many things. Like I used to work at Wawa, and people would ask for like extra mayo on their sandwiches, and I wouldn't give it to them. Like I would like refuse to put extra mayo on there because like, honey, you don't need it. Like no,
Yeah.
it's like it's good. Like just enough to like make the bread moist. That's all you need. But like too much is too far.
Just the mere talk of mayo actually like kind of gets me like all like I gotta go.
This is the part where I'm gonna have Frankie's gonna help me edit this, and I'm just gonna insert that big picture of Patrick from SpongeBob in the episode.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Is mayonnaise an instrument? That's usually my go-to when like anybody posts like about how white people are just hoarding all the meat but none of the seasoning, and I'll just like say, is mayonnaise a condiment or mayonnaise a seasoning? So
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm Vietnamese, and the flavor profile of Vietnamese food is all over the place. Like our umami base is fish sauce. It's incredibly salty. It's pungent. It's stinky. It like gives you that savory, drooly sensation in your mouth. And we've got lime and garlic and ginger, and it just pickled things, crunchy things. I realized when I was dating another white guy that Vietnamese food is incredibly textured, because when you think about it, a lot of like American-based food, think oatmeal, pudding, jello, mashed potatoes, casseroles. It's all just mush and it's all beige.
Yeah.
And then he comes over to my house and we've got like mixed rice, which has pickled things, peanuts, like meat, rice, things that are kind of chewy in a very satisfying way. And it's very colorful compared to salt and pepper chicken.
So did your parents make a lot of Vietnamese when you were growing up?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. My mom's a really good cook.
Awesome. How does your husband do you cook a lot of Vietnamese too, or like?
And he's a white guy, right?
He is a white. Mm-hmm.
He is a white.
No, but it was really important to me. Well, I don't know if it was important, but I really value that he eats everything and he's not picky. I think it's a credit to his parents who were like, you're going to eat what's put in front of you. You have to try it once. If you don't like it, you have to try it again. Like, I think for me, I learned after the last person that I was with, I really don't like picky eaters, because for my family and for my culture, it's like the way we welcome you is by feeding you all the things. And so you can't say no. Like, you have to just eat it. And so.
Have there been any foods that he's tried that he didn't like, that he was like, no, I'm not, I can't do that?
Well, the rite of passage in my family is chicken feet at dim sum.
Ooh, okay.
And it's deep fried, and it's like a beer snack. The way you kind of crunch peanuts and eat and drink beer and just kind of like socially eat, it's the same thing. You just chew on it. You're just chewing the skin around the bone of the foot. You don't actually like eat the bones. You spit them out. He did it once just for the street cred, and then yeah, I'm okay. But he doesn't like tofu, so I'm working on that.
So is it like the way we like approach like sunflower seeds? You eat around it?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
It never would eat like it never would occur to me to eat chicken feet. Like,
you don't waste anything when you're from a third world country.
There you go. There you go. And that was our education leave.
Yeah, there you go.
Education for the day.
So with Neil being white, has that come up in the relationship any other ways? Like I know you guys had like a beautiful wedding and had like a lot of elements from your culture in it. Can you talk about that a little bit?
It was so my parents actually didn't want to do the traditional Vietnamese wedding that comes with a tea ceremony, and there's like a whole roast pig that they carry in, and yeah, it's a whole thing. And there's like trays of gifts, like there's the gift of tea and the gift of fruit and the gift of jewelry, and like there's a procession. There's a gate crash, which actually comes from Chinese culture, where the groomsmen are trying to get the bride, and the girls, like the bridesmaids, will like block the door, and they'll be like, no, you have to do these several things, like eat pickled herring, or let me wax off some hair on your leg, or like little games just to like, yeah, to haze
This all
them,
happens at the reception?
This happens before the ceremony. They're like kind of, if since we're Catholic, so we had like a mass, but it would have like, we would do the mass later, or we would do the tea ceremony and the gate crash a separate day. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, it's like they're trying to get the bride, and then eventually it's like, okay, well, how much do I have to pay to get her? And then she lists a number, or no, he'll list a number, and she'd be like, no, that's not enough, give me more. Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
That's like that's like the episode of The Office where they like Dwight has to they kidnap Angela. The last episode, they kidnap Angela before Dwight's wedding, and like they're like, he has to go find what bar they take her to, and then he has to buy everybody around him at that bar.
Yeah.
So did you not do that?
My parents didn't want to do it because they said that sounded stressful, and so we just did kind of all like a standard American wedding, except we changed into custom-made outfits for the cake cutting, and that was pretty fun because that was a surprise. We didn't tell anyone. Mm-hmm. We just kind of showed up, and what was amazing was Ray, our DJ and trivia master.
Ray was your DJ?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
shout out to MR Pub Games.
Yeah, he didn't know that this was happening either, but he turned around and he saw us coming down the stairs after we changed our outfits, and he like pauses the music and goes, "Stop the presses! We've got a wardrobe change." And it was awesome. Excellent.
Now, the first thing I want to do when this quarantine is over is crash a Vietnamese wedding.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Trashy? Yeah. That sounds incredible. Sounds completely different, but amazing.
Vietnamese weddings are truly interesting.
Trying to purchase you sounds like a funny part of the wedding.
It sounds like the various scenes of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then usually Vietnamese weddings are held at these giant Chinese restaurants because they're cheaper. So you could do a 9-course meal compared to what you and I probably paid, which was like $100 a head for some dried chicken.
You can curse all you want on this.
Oh, per person. But yeah, and it's a lot of Heineken.
That's sad.
But it's a lot. It's a lot of Heineken and Remy Martin.
What'd you say, Matt?
You didn't have a dry ass chicken at your wedding, did you?
No, we didn't have dry ass chicken. We had. Did we have chicken? I think we had chicken. I don't remember the food we had.
I don't remember it either. Like I had a bite.
We had a food station, like food stations all throughout the reception hall. But like we never ate. Like by the end of the night, they kept the wedding planner person kept saying, "Oh, we'll keep people away from you so you can eat." And then at the end of the night, we went to Wendy's.
Oh, nice. They did a good job of making sure we were fed, but even with the eating, it still felt like it was just like a job that I had to do at this moment. Like my job right now is just eat as much as I can so I can get back to doing the festivities. So I feel like I didn't appreciate it as much. The food was very good, but I feel like I didn't enjoy it.
We had a cake and we had ice cream waffle sundaes, and we didn't get the waffle sundaes just because we were orbiting. But later on, everyone's like, "Oh, they were delicious. They were so good." I'm like, "Good to know."
Yeah. I didn't. That was me with like alcohol. Like I feel like I didn't drink enough. Like I want to take advantage of that open bar, but
The Irish whiskey was gone before we ever arrived at the reception venue.
oh really?
Oh yeah, like
Wait, for your wedding or our wedding?
our wedding.
Oh, your wedding. It was already gone.
Oh my gosh, completely gone. Like we showed up and like we both come from large Irish type families, and they just ransacked the whiskey.
Yeah, we definitely we were fine with like the amount of alcohol and food. Like that was good. I think afterwards we had an after party, and it was like sliders. It was like ham and cheese sliders, cheeseburger sliders, and then fries. By the time I got down there was like I got one burger slider and like a few fries, and that was about it. So people went through that stuff real quick. Yeah.
We
Go ahead. You were saying?
Oh, I was just thinking. We also had an after party. We had it at Pub Dog, which is no longer
Which
the Pub
one?
Dog in Columbia.
Yeah, because they had
Is
a
that
fire,
gone?
right?
It blew up. There was
Oh,
a
that's
gas
right.
explosion, and you could see right through the building complexes. So yeah,
I worked like 2 minutes away from there, so I remember hearing about that and was just like blown away that happened.
apparently Neil heard it. Like he heard not he heard it, but he felt it maybe. I was dead asleep.
In Canton? Or where did he
In
go?
Columbia.
Oh my
No,
God.
we live in Columbia, and our wedding was in like this area. And
Okay.
so we had
I didn't know you guys lived in Columbia.
Where do you think we've been?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
you thought we were at the Canton house that you came over
I
for
don't
dinner
know
that one
if I
time?
didn't know if you were at the. I didn't think you were at the Can House, but I thought. I thought you were somewhere in Baltimore. I work in Columbia now, so I didn't realize you guys were so close.
Oh, yeah.
I'm right next to Earth Treks.
Still haven't been there.
Which place?
Earth Treks. Climbing.
What is that?
Rock climbing.
Oh my gosh.
This is how you rock climb, Matt.
It's very expensive. It's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, I will say that the thing about Earth Treks that's cool is they do have like a full gym there, and your membership gets you access to any Earth Treks and the gym, and all of the classes are free as well, which is kind of a benefit, but it's still very expensive.
Yeah, it means you have to really dedicate yourself each week to make it worth it.
Yeah.
As is any gym.
Yep.
This is true.
Otherwise, you get to the end of the month and you look at what's been taken out of your paycheck and you're like, oh, no. I've been there twice this month.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, what are we pouring?
Dogfish Head Bending Time.
Ooh.
It's a gin with chamomile, honey, and lemon juice. It's kind of like a pre-mixed cocktail.
Oh, that's fun.
And you just pour it over ice.
That's so classy. I'm going to make something as well. I'm going to make a beverage.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Should I do, I'm either thinking a vodka and LaCroix,
it's like a skinny white girl drink.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're shredding for the wedding.
Whiskey ginger, or a whiskey and Coke, or rum and Coke. You guys decide.
Whiskey and ginger.
Matt, are you on board with that? Is that what I'm making?
Sure. I'll make you do that.
Right. I will be right back. You can enjoy my cheap ass whiskey.
Holy cow.
Kentucky gentleman, boy.
I know this is unoriginal, but you guys could do the taste testings of cheap versus expensive and like a blind taste test. I love watching that because it just shows you how full of it people are out there. High profile, palates.
Well, the guy that normally produces the show, Aaron, he is like a alcohol snob. So like he would like prepare things before our shows, like during the first season. He would sit there and pour things and like mix things up, and he goes, "Oh no, you can't do that. All right, do this. Yeah, you'll like this." And I'm like, I have no alcoholic palate whatsoever. I can't like figure my way out of a paper bag.
I fully respect a well-made cocktail. I just don't. I don't know. I'm not gonna be stuck up about it.
Yeah. I mean, I
Like, I love a good Bud Light in the summer.
oh yeah.
Hey, Topher, this is where we should insert a judgmental photo of Aaron, like during this video.
Oh, as I'm pouring
Yeah,
Kentucky Gentleman
yes,
into my drink.
like with that furrowed brow that he would do.
Oh well, he can deal with it.
I think that's on all his photos too, so that's good.
Just yeah,
Readily available.
that's very true. This is the benefit of filming right in front of my bar cart is that I can just.
Look at that martini. Look at that stirring spoon. You got it all together.
It's I like to be real classy with how I stir my cheap ass whiskey.
Oh, that's great.
Too much, spilled a little bit. Oh well.
What's going on, man? You really put it together since you got married.
Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers.
I try. So cooking is a big one. What else do you like to do at 5?
Oh, it's gonna make me sound boring.
I can't wait to hear it.
I don't know. I used to run. That's not interesting.
Oh yeah, you ran.
That's so. It's like, oh, I run. Oh.
Hold on. This is a little pep talk you're about to get now. Don't like downplay the things you like to do. If you like to run,
but do I even like it? Like
nobody likes it, but some people pretend to like it.
Some people like it. Some people love it.
Some people definitely like it. I think I did it just because I should.
What did you run recently? You ran was it a half or a full?
It was a half.
And what was your time?
I don't want to talk about it. It was fine.
What was your time? I want to know.
I think it was 2:25.
That's great. I think that's my mile.
I will tell you, I ate an almond butter packet in the morning just because it was like quick and I had it in my fanny pack so I could just kind of be on the go with it. And I kept getting the worst cramps I'd ever experienced. And I've been getting like knee issues as I was running and, side stitches, the things that you normally get. Never felt like this. And I walked like maybe a half mile because it was just so unbearable. And I think that's what like took me down. And then I got to the finish and I'm like, I sprinted it. But then I looked it up later. You shouldn't be eating fat, like things that are high in saturated or, that thick fat before you run because it's harder to process. So your body's already pumping all this like, oxygen and blood and trying to get you moving, but they're also trying to process this lump of freaking peanut butter you just ate. So I kind of screwed myself.
Yeah.
And I hadn't eaten before any of my long runs, and I'm very upset about it. So that's why I'm like.
It could be worse. You could have like a full plate of fettuccine Alfredo.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I assumed I was supposed to eat before a long run.
Yeah, you got a carbo load.
Yeah.
There was a basketball player, I think it was Rod Strickland, played for the Washington Wizards. He used to eat hot dogs before games. And like literally like 10 minutes before a game. Mm-hmm. And then go out there for 2 hours. And like did it every game.
That is vile.
I can't even imagine. And that like people like that, like their diets and their body are like completely controlled by like billionaires. I don't even know how you get away with that. Like how you include that in your contract. Will eat hot dog before tip off.
Yeah. I remember when I worked at Dempsey's in Camden Yards, is like the bar inside of the baseball stadium. Mm-hmm. There was like an event happening and Adam Jones came walking through the kitchen and we had just made a bunch of cookies and I was like, hey, Adam and everybody else is like afraid to talk to him because he's Adam Jones and they're all big baseball fans. But I like don't care about baseball. I'm more excited that he's a wrestling fan, and I see him at wrestling shows when they come to Baltimore.
We also have to talk about this later.
Oh, we will. We'll chat about that.
About wrestling?
Yeah, because I don't get it.
Okay, we'll have that time. But Adam Jones comes walking through, and I'm like, "Hey, Adam Jones, there's some cookies there. Would you like one?" Because anytime like an Oriole comes in, like we just give him free shit, like take whatever you want. And he's like, there was somebody following behind him, and he's like, "No, she would kill me." Apparently, she was like the team dietitian that like came with him into the restaurant to make sure that he didn't like eat anything that he wasn't supposed to eat.
Eventually, I think they gave up with him because like he started doing like a donut segment with Masson.
That's funny.
That's good.
It was like, hey, these are my favorite donuts. These are how they get made. Like, and so it was like Food Network with Adam Jones.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's rag on Topher about his wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't get it.
What don't you get?
Neil has tried to explain this to me so many times. Like first of all, it looks gruesome. And I played rugby, but like wrestling looks gruesome. They're all slippery and they have chairs, and I don't get the costumes, and I just don't get the pageantry. And then he told me they're scripted.
Yeah.
What? Why are you watching? Like I don't.
Of course it's scripted. Why do you watch TV shows and movies?
I don't. It just they're like hurting each other, right? Are they actually hurting each other?
They will physically get hurt, but it's in the same way that like a stuntman gets hurt. Like when a stuntman is doing a scene for a movie, he's still getting injured.
Like, but aren't they like more controlled? Like if they're tucking and rolling or whatever.
Yeah, they get and wrestlers fall in a way that they know how to. I took a bump. That's what it's called when you like fall down onto the mat. And I had like a friend of mine who's a wrestler teach me the proper way in which to take a bump, and you fall in a way that like it doesn't hurt you as much. Like it still hurts, but you don't get injured.
Okay, so here's the question for you. I don't know anything.
Okay.
Regular sport wrestling.
Yes.
Did the showy wrestling come from sport wrestling, and how did it go from point A to point B?
Okay, so there's a whole video about this that explains it a lot better than I'm about to, but I will kind of do a shortened version of it. So
he's so excited.
In the Civil War happened, and when the Civil
of America,
yeah. So the Civil War ended, and all the soldiers went home. And a lot of soldiers just didn't have jobs. Like they didn't have stuff that they could do, but they're big, strong guys that could, they would wrestle in camps. Like when they were like going from place to place, they would wrestle each other as like a form of betting, like throw money down. Like I think Abraham Lincoln could beat this guy, which Abraham Lincoln wrestled in his day. He is in the
sport wrestling, not professional wrestling.
Yes, he did the sport wrestling.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't coming off the top rope.
Is all these out of work soldiers would become wrestlers, and they would go like to like traveling fairs or traveling circuses or whatever would have wrestling shows, and they would wrestle, and sometimes it wasn't like the like evolved point system that we know like Olympic wrestling to be these days. It was just kind of like wrestle the person down to the mat, and the matches were boring as hell, and they would last for a very long time. Some of these matches would last hours without a winner, and there was a guy named Tootsmond, Tootmond or Mund, I think it's Mond, Tootsmond. And he basically figured out that all these people were betting on these matches, and they could make a ton of money if they fixed it. Like, and so if they had this small guy going up against this big guy, everybody's going to be betting that the big guy is going to win. And if we give that big guy a cut of the money to lose, we can have him like lose to the little guy and make a shit ton of money because everybody thought the big guy was going to win.
But and people believe it, or they know that it's fixed?
At this time, they thought it was real. They still thought it was real at this point. And for a long time, wrestlers would keep it a secret. It was called keeping kayfabe, where they would try to, which was kayfabe was like a form of like carny speak, where they're talking in front of customers who they're trying to kind of work out of their money in a way that they like don't know what's going on. So they would have this weird carny language that they would speak as like a code. And so they started doing that. And then they started realizing that they could make more and more money if they made these matches more exciting, because watching two guys wrestle for 4 hours is kind of boring. And so then they start adding in elements of what you see today, where you see characters, you see moves that look like they hurt a lot more and are more outlandish and things like that.
Okay, I think just watching clips of, I think it makes me stressed.
That's fair. Like, but do you watch superhero movies?
No.
That's
I
fine.
will say
if you don't like superhero movies, you probably won't like wrestling.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's because I also just don't know like a lot of the backstory. Like the Marvel Universe, I respect it, and I respect what Sony and all those companies, how they're drawing you in with each movie, whatever. Yeah. I will say Guardians of the Galaxy was really funny.
Yeah, that's good. But that's basically wrestling. Superheroes and wrestling are like the same thing. They have ridiculous outfits and ridiculous costumes. They like have these over the top and outlandish stories, and they're like fighting each other in these ridiculous and outlandish ways that like don't really make sense and wouldn't necessarily be realistic.
I think that's what like gets me is the pie in the sky violence and all the different ways you can slam someone to the floor. Because to me, I'm just like, let's say, okay, for example, from rugby, it's like there's things you can do, things you can't do. So it's like, that's okay. That looks brutal, but it's okay. Whereas in wrestling, I'm like, why is that allowed? But then I keep thinking it's scripted, but it's like they still are getting hurt. I don't know. I think it's just, it like gives me the heebie-jeebies.
That's fair. A lot of people get the heebie-jeebies. I get the heebie-jeebies sometimes watching it.
Interesting.
So did you not see it when you were younger?
No.
That's fair.
I didn't watch baseball either. All these like American pastimes that.
Was that just your parents not exposing you to certain things, or like?
I don't think they knew what it was. We watched the Olympics because we wanted to root for the Asian countries.
That's fair. Asian wrestling is really big, I will say. Mostly in Japan, but
yes, in Japan. Because sumo wrestling.
Well, no, yes, that's
like
true.
Pro
too.
Wrestling is huge there.
Pro wrestling is huge in Japan too. But that's fair. You don't have to like it. I think that there's like this. I think that there's this misunderstanding that like either I don't know that it's fake, or that I like love violence. If I loved violence, I would watch UFC. I think like the violence part isn't that exciting to me. Like watching somebody like get like cut open with like a light tube, which happens in like super like gross hardcore matches, like that doesn't do anything for me. But like I do like the storytelling elements that happen of it is comic books. It's a good guy versus a bad guy, and they fight and they have this big outlandish battle, and you want to see good triumph over evil.
So do you watch UFC or no?
No, I can't really get into it because I don't care. Like I the reason I like wrestling, the reason that the two people fighting matters to me is because I know that I know of the story that came before it. Like WWE is really good at producing these like promo packages before matches, So like Frankie and I will just sit and watch some of them. Like yesterday we watched a couple of them where you watch that, it's like a 3 to 4 minute video and you know their whole story, and now all of a sudden you're just like, I need to see these two people fight because I need to see this guy destroy him because I know what he did to him earlier a couple months ago or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
you're
building storyline. It's like soap operas for guys.
Yes.
okay. I just never met someone who was so into wrestling. I was like, I don't get it. We have to talk.
No, that's fair. And that's the thing too, is like wrestling is not for everybody. Everybody thinks that like, I think everybody thinks that like the form of entertainment that they enjoy is the best form of entertainment, and like everybody should like their thing. And while I think that there is something that everybody could take from wrestling and could enjoy from it, like for some people it's not their main form of entertainment, and that's fine with me. I just think that like that the majority of people hate it for reasons that are stupid. Like they don't like it or because they don't understand it. And if they come to understand it and they still don't like it, cool. I don't care. But like when people are like, "Oh, it's fake," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know that."
Okay.
It'd be weird if it wasn't.
Right.
That's
It's not
fair.
like you watch an action movie and like Bruce Willis in Die Hard wasn't necessarily really punching those guys. It was staged and choreographed.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't real. So like there's a certain point though where people can buy something on film as opposed to like watching something live where they know like the hit didn't look like it connected.
Yeah.
Sort of fake simulation. But like a movie punch, like you can hear the punch, you can hear the face, like it gets all around produced.
Yeah.
Where like if something doesn't connect in wrestling, it's obvious.
Yeah. I will say too, I think that theater gets like a pass that wrestling doesn't. Like
I was just thinking about that.
if
How
you
it's
go
kind of
see
the
a
same.
play and somebody like punches somebody in the play in an unrealistic way, nobody's like, "Oh, he didn't really punch him." Like nobody gets upset about that. But then they like when it happens in wrestling, they're like, "See, they didn't actually connect." And it's like, "Yeah, they didn't. That's fine. They're not supposed to really be punching each other."
Well, okay, I think it's because from my own ignorant standpoint, I thought that it was sport for like
Yeah.
my entire life until someone
Yeah.
told me it was scripted, and then I got really confused. But
Yeah.
I guess I think a lot of people
That's
think
fair.
it's real.
And that's why they like WWE uses the term sports entertainment to clarify that it's not exactly a sport. It's like a theatrical interpretation of a sport.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, he called it sports entertainment so that sports commissions in cities couldn't make him pay them money to get him like legalized and stuff like that. There's
So
also
are the
stuff like that.
WrestleMania people, are they considered athletes or like entertainers?
Both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say both. I mean, if you look at that, like, if you look at some of the things that they do in the ring and you don't call them athletes, then you're saying that gymnasts aren't athletes, and you're saying that like bodybuilders and like strongmen aren't athletes because
So then
they do a lot of same things.
are stuntmen athletes? Because they kind of do the same.
I would say, I mean, it depends on like the stunts they do. Like if somebody's just taking slaps all day, maybe they're not an
They
athlete.
perform athletic maneuvers, not
Yeah.
necessarily in a competition.
Okay.
So like I think the wrestlers perform athletic maneuvers. They have to be athletic to do what they do.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily quote unquote professional athletes though.
Yeah. But then again, like they show poker on ESPN, so like
The
Right,
ultimate
what's a
sport.
game is completely watered down now.
exactly, you're right. That's what I've always said about. I don't say anything about poker. I don't care about poker. But anyway, did that sufficiently explain it to you, Vivian?
I think so, actually.
Okay.
Because
Well,
I mean, I didn't know any of that, and I just knew that you're into it, and I don't know anything about it, and I just,
Well, once we're no longer quarantined, I'll have you and Neil over, and I can teach you all about it. And you can.
Well, we've been trying to get together for like a year.
This is true. This is true. Well, it was easy when we were doing marriage prep together, and we would see each other all the time. But now that we're not doing that, now that we're actually married, we don't have a reason to see each other.
So you were actually doing marriage prep together at the same time?
Kind of. We were parishioners at Our Lady of Perpetual Help, and so we were enrolled in their program there. And then because we were being married by Father John, who knew us and knew that we knew each other, he was like, let's do something. And I think because Frankie had said you guys didn't actually have like a solid marriage, like a pre-Cana kind of thing, and Father John was kind of making it up as you went. So then he was like, let's just put these four people together, and it was kind of supplementary to our actual program that we did.
Yeah,
it was nice.
It was really nice because I didn't know Vivian and Neil really before that happened, and I liked it. It was cool getting to know them, and I think
I'm glad the turnout was good.
Yeah, I think it helped because it felt like a very communal thing, like learning the ways of marriage prep. So
yeah, and it's only been less than a year for the both of us, but I think with like little things, sometimes I'll just text Frankie like, what do you think about this? And it's nice to have someone who's kind of already not the same mindset, but I guess under the same credence and that kind of thing. And because we both went through that together, like we're both pretty open about it, and it's nice.
So that kind of transitions pretty well into faith. Like what's faith like for you and in your life?
Well, right now it's really weird. I think it's weird for everyone. Like it's Holy Thursday.
Yep.
And just before this, I was watching Holy Thursday Mass on my phone, drinking my gin.
That sounds.
But I was
pretty good.
That sounds like a standard.
I was like, oh God, he's about to call me out. No, I just wanted to see, because I've been kind of like church shopping the virtual masses.
I know, yeah, me too.
Like which one has the best stream, which one has the better music. You know, we've been watching nativities because they stream every week normally, like even not in quarantine. And so I figured they'd have the most reliable stream compared to all the churches that are just clunkily figuring it out right now.
How has nativities been for you?
I don't want to.
Feel free to spill the tea if you'd like to.
Like go negative?
If you want to. I mean, you don't have to, but if you want
Oh God.
I'm blocked by the pastor of Nativity on Twitter, so like I don't really care if you do or not.
That's great. Oh God, my iPad is about to die.
I'm not sure you've ever shared that story on the podcast.
Oh yeah, we'll share that story in a little bit, I'm sure.
I didn't know we were allowed to talk about things like that. I have a lot of thoughts.
You can talk about whatever you want.
So just word of warning, my iPad it's at 10%. I might have to download Zoom on my phone and go from there because like I can't plug. Okay. I have thoughts. They do the series kind of thing where they have a theme? Yeah. And then what I don't like so far is that they'll do the same set of songs every week in the series, which that's new to me. I don't know about you, but like I've never been to a church that does that. And Waymaker is a bop, but when you're hearing it every Sunday, I'm starting to lose my mind with Waymaker.
That's fair, yeah.
So I don't know. I've heard things about them. Like I've heard that they're kind of mega churchy. They do
Very
the Cow
mega
Palace.
Churchy.
I'd only heard that, and now that we've been doing the virtual masses, I can see. I will say one thing that's good. I can see how they get people in the door because they do have all the bells and whistles and the welcome microphones like that Protestant churches have. And I dated a Protestant, like son of a preacher, and I see the appeal. It is a little bizarre. I also don't like the seasonal psalms that they do, and just I don't know.
That's fair.
And then So their stream is actually very well done because they do it every week, and it looks like they got someone from like a very well produced like Protestant church to do all their graphics and their panning and their B-roll and all that stuff.
Pretty sure they did.
I knew it. It's like I've seen
Maybe,
all
I don't know
this.
for sure, but I assume.
I've seen all this before. But yeah, like for certain parts of the mass, I guess I wish they would just keep the camera. Like, because if we were in church, that's what we would be seeing. We wouldn't be seeing, you know, a bokeh shot of the crucifix and some blurred out lights and candles. Like, I don't know.
But that's exactly the way they do it at a normal mass. My mom was a parishioner there. So like their masses are extremely well produced, like the streams are. So like it like has, if you've never been there before, if you go there in person, it kind of feels like a concert where a mass is like sort of there in between. And so like they have two large screens on the side that also have like the words to the prayers and the masses, and like so you have these live shots, the same things you see where like cut to the crucifix and cut to like, you know, a shot of somebody being a musician.
Oh my gosh. Can we also talk about, I don't like that the musicians kind of stand, do they stand in front of the altar and then they back off?
Fairly close. They're probably about like 10 feet to the left. But they're like almost, they're in front of it though. Like they're to the front, to the left.
Okay. Because from the camera shot, it looks like they come out in front and then they leave when they're, and so I was like, I don't know if I like this.
It's definitely a flavor that like you have to be really into.
I thought I would because I do like contemporary music.
Yeah.
I like a good passionate priest who isn't just standing like I like all that. It's just when you said seamless or very well produced, like they're scarily seamless, because as soon as where's the human aspect of someone bowing and stepping up and taking a breath versus like they cut right, I don't know. I was talking to my friend about it this morning and I was like, are they normally like this? Or am I just being like, you darn kids?
The thing is they have something like 15,000 people a weekend going in and out. So they have parking ministry where like people are in charge of getting people into certain parking spots. Yeah. And like those kinds of things. And like, it's like when you enter that church, that like the what would people would consider would be the narthex is actually kind of like very similar to when you walk into an arena and like walking around, like there's kind of a concession stand with like coffee and pizza and things like that that you can have after mass and those kinds of things. It's very like you're going into an event kind of thing. They stage it big. They spend an extraordinary amount of time on putting together I've heard it described this way, like an epic experience. The ironic part is like for me, just as somebody who encounters it actually, if you go there enough, like if you have to take your mom there enough, it actually becomes very predictable, which is like ironic because like Catholic Mass in most other parishes can be predictable. If you go in there, you're like, yep, here we go. This is it. You're going to hit me with this song. You know, I know where you're going with this. And like, sure enough, if you go to nativity enough, it can start to feel repetitive.
Yeah. I think that it's a different way of doing mass. It's not the way that I prefer to do mass, to see mass be done. But obviously, like the Eucharist is there, so I'm cool.
It's working.
I think that everybody, like you Vivian, you said like flavor. I think that the beauty of mass is that we are all getting the same gospel and we are all getting the same readings no matter what church we go to. And so I think it makes it so that you can have different flavors. You can have different types of music. You can have different setups in the church. So
That's what I'll tell myself when we travel or when we go to the beach or something. We have to go to their like weird towny mass. It's
yeah.
like with their croak priest who went up for and said a haiku and then sat down and then burped. Like it's as at the end of the day, like the Eucharist is still there and it's like this is still legit.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can get this anywhere we go.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing that I've really enjoyed about the like you've mentioned shopping around to different like virtual masses. I think the thing that I've really enjoyed is seeing churches scale down and do their mass in the chapels.
Yeah.
A lot of these churches have smaller chapels. So like we are normally parishioners at St. Joe's, and St. Joe's is a lovely church. And
Whoop.
it's really cool to see them doing mass just in the chapel.
Yeah. I love that chapel.
I think it like for me that's like the best experiences I've ever had in mass have been in tiny little chapels with like 10 people. And obviously church is not about the experience, it is not about like a feeling, but that is where I've felt the most home is when I'm in a small chapel. And so it's been cool. Like we just watched this past Sunday we watched Ascension Presents. They had Father Mike Schmitz, who I think just became a bishop or just got or somebody was saying something about him being a bishop. I don't know.
Really?
I'm gonna look this up.
That's big news.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna look this up. But anyway, he did it. He did mass in a small chapel, and it was great. One because it was Father Mike Schmitz, and he is like an amazing priest. And if you are, for a lot of our listeners, like a lot of our listeners are not Catholic or Christian or religious at all, Father Mike Schmitz is amazing, and you should look up some of his stuff because he does a great job of breaking down Catholicism into very small parts. I saw something somewhere.
I don't see him being a bishop. I don't see anything.
I'm gonna, guys, can I disconnect and connect from my phone?
Of course you can. We'll take this as a little commercial break. Vivian will be back with you in a little bit. See you soon.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
How do I do this? Hang up.
Leave the meeting. You're fine.
You want to stop recording?
Oh, she's back.
Whoa.
Are you on your phone now?
No. I'm still trying to figure out how to leave meeting because I'm 90.
She hasn't left the meeting yet. I'm just going to keep eating.
Oh, leave meeting.
My P.F. Chang's is cold by now, but...
Dude.
It's real good. This is a fun episode. I didn't think we were going to bash nativity, but I'm not against it.
Are we still rolling?
Yeah, we're still rolling.
Are we going to cut around this?
Maybe. I kind of don't want to.
Yeah, you gotta when she gets back on, you gotta talk about how you got banned by him.
Yeah, I'll talk about that. I didn't want to talk too much about myself, but I will talk about that. That's a fun one.
We have shopped a little bit, for churches during this time because like it really like nobody was doing streaming as their natural muscle. And like even though it's like very easy to just sort of put your phone out and say like, all right, let's do this.
Vivian's back.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Do you feel better now?
I do. I was stressing out.
That's cool. I'm actually going to go get my headphones because Frankie went into her room to do a phone call. I say her room. It's our bedroom. Whatever.
It is her room.
So yeah, he's going to tell you about this in a second, but he totally got banned. I remember the moment when he got banned by or blocked by Father Michael White from the Nativity on Twitter.
Yes, I want to hear that story.
So here, I'll do a little background.
Okay.
So Father Michael White.
I wasn't going to say his name, but okay.
Oh. Anyway, this is all Googleable.
Yeah, people can put two and two together. So he writes, I'm not bashing him, I'm just laying out facts. He writes a blog regularly, and he tweets regularly, but like more so like on his blog, he puts his opinions out. And so he did this blog where he talked about how important children's ministry was to the parish.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this very elaborate, essentially a very elaborate children's liturgy of the word,
Mm-hmm.
where they have these people come down the aisles with these lights, and the kids see it and they follow them to the back. And it's kind of like, well, I don't want to say Pied Piper-ish, but like they go up and they like have this thing, and like the kids follow, and like it's almost broken down into sections and like that kind of thing. And then they go and they disappear, and they have their own rock-a-Bible experience for like the next 30 minutes, next 20 or 30 minutes, while like they go into the liturgy of the word and the homily and all that stuff. So like Father White as pastor was making this case for, don't make kids stay around and in the church. They really shouldn't be there. Go ahead and let them learn in their speed with if you have a good children's liturgy program, go off and have them do there. They really don't, and like he basically said, and don't try to put them in the front row, because that's not really going to do anything either. Topher, did I give enough background?
Yeah, that's fair. And it basically, it came across as kind of like, it came across insensitive, I think, to a lot of families that bring their kids to church, and especially like single mothers.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to, I while you were gone, I said I didn't want to turn this into like a let's bash nativity kind of thing, but I really didn't appreciate that letter, and I don't think it was very good. And so a lot of people on Twitter were giving very strong opinions about this, and while I had strong opinions about it, I wasn't trying to be rude. I wasn't trying to be hateful, but I was trying to be a little bit snarky. And so I posted
I know what you did.
I'm trying to see if I can find it. I posted a single GIF. I posted a GIF. That's right. I say GIF because that's how it should be pronounced.
Are you going to screen share it?
I am going to screen share the GIF. This is the GIF that I posted. I will screen share it now.
Nope.
Oh, wait, I'm not sharing it yet. I am sharing it now.
Okay.
So it is Bart Simpson holding a cake that says, "At least you tried," and then throwing it in the trash. That is all I did. Now, there were some people saying very rude things, being very angry, being very spiteful. And should I have been snarky about it? Probably not. But was it funny? Yes.
The Bart Simpson "At least you tried" GIF is always funny.
It's one of my favorite GIFs.
But
GIFs,
the thing is
GIFs,
like
GIF, hard G.
The one thing is like there's this like, I mean, I don't know how much you're into it, but like I obviously like my previous career was in church digital social media. So like I'm used to seeing the Catholic discussion online, which is really often ugly, like really ugly. And so it attracted ugly comments and Topher and and everything in between. And like he had to block a lot of people because like the thing is like there's something interesting about the way that was handled. Is like he didn't necessarily understand that it was going to be perceived the way it was.
Yeah.
And that parents were going to take offense to it. It's like, no, my child belongs there in the mass, seeing how mass is done, and eventually they're going to come around. And if they're annoying to you on your homily, it's not about you; it's about the mass.
Yeah.
It's about bringing them to Jesus. And like, so that's one of those things where he doesn't, I think, sometimes understand just like the two-way street, the conversation that comes with digital evangelization.
Yeah. Social media, man. Come on.
Yeah. And I think that was, I don't know if it was a wake-up call for them or just like for them to go, oh, that was annoying, moving on, because we're right, because they like, if there's anything about that church, is that they are really, really sure about what they are doing.
Yeah.
They are very, very sure that they are doing the right thing for them. But the reality is that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right thing for a parish in Arbutus that has like 300 families, or like St. Joe's in Cockeysville, like 5 minutes down the road. Like it's different. Like the thing about the mass is like, more often than not, people do, just as they're shopping during a stream, they shop, to find the place that they're most comfortable with. Yeah, they can go to the neighborhood church, but eventually they're going to want to find something where they feel like they belong and the community reflects who they are and what they want.
Yeah.
He struggled with that, I think.
Yeah.
Having like he's used to like having a very positive reaction amongst his community. And I think like the feedback was so negative that he was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. Back to the shopping though. Were there any other things that you've enjoyed that you found while you guys have been digital church shopping?
Not yet. Well, it's only been like 2 or 3. Well, oh my God, it's been almost a month now, right?
It's been
Since
a
all
year.
this started.
Yeah.
It's been a year.
It's been a year.
That's forever.
I can't. I'm not sure yet. Maybe we'll try. We might try Ascension the Sunday for Easter.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I have a friend who sings at what's the church in Linthicum? Matt, you might know.
St. Philip Neri.
St. Philip Neri, yeah, the one that has the big Reese's cup above the altar.
Yes, that's the
all right.
one.
Now I'm gonna Google this.
They have a light fixture that looks like a giant Reese's cup. But it's an amazing church, and my friend Mary, shout out to Mary Scott. She's actually sent a question in for last week for Father Austin. But she sings there, and I've been meaning to watch one of her masses that she sings at, but I have not done that yet. So maybe we'll do that for Easter. We haven't figured that out yet.
That is one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
I'm seriously looking for this Reese's cup thing.
Yeah, you'll see it if you find a picture of St. Philip Neri, and you can find a picture like of the altar like from far away. There is a giant light fixture around it that looks.
Oh, now I got it.
Yeah, it looks frighteningly.
It looks like the wrapper around a Reese's cup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a very thin Reese's cup.
Oh my goodness, you weren't lying.
It looks like a low-calorie Reese's cup.
A thin, Reese's Thin Mint or whatever.
Yeah. Vivian.
Yes.
What else gets you out of bed? Like, what else are you passionate about? Because I know there's more. I want to know more.
I don't know. It's gonna make it sound like I only have a few things, but I don't know. I like fixing at my house.
That's okay. That's where I wanted to go. This is the thing I couldn't think of a way to get to it, but you talk a lot about home improvement, and I'm so intrigued by that because I'm in an apartment, so I can't do any home improvement. Really, like we can hang things and we can paint if we want to, but that's about it. So I love seeing your home improvement posts. So please talk to me all about home improvement.
Well, we bought a house a little over a year ago. And it's a house from the 70s, and we both knew it was the one when we we walked through it and we went down to the basement. Our realtor was still upstairs, and we looked at her like, this is it, because it's kind of funky. And it came with the 70s accoutrement, like parquet flooring, that hideous brown crosshatch flooring that connects with brown baseboards. Everything was brown. Like our kitchen, one thing you don't see when I'm like, posting pictures is my kitchen, because it's hideous. The countertop is this marbled green and brown splotch. And the cabinets used to be Tiffany blue. I think they had painted it over to make it sellable. But everything about the house was just very 70s. And we went into the buying process knowing we were going to get something that would be personalized. Like, I was not expecting to find a house that had everything that I wanted, aesthetically or functionally. And so I had that mindset also because my parents, they used to flip houses, and they used to like design other people's houses and whatnot. And they're very crafty and they do everything themselves because we're immigrants. And so I've just been, especially with quarantine, we knocked out 3 months worth of projects in about 2 weekends, or no, 3 weekends. And I'm starting to run out. And now I'm trying to avoid going to Lowe's, my favorite place on earth.
Well, living in Colombia, can you do anything to the outside, or like are there Colombia Association rules that like say like you can't do anything to the outside?
So I've heard they can be strict, but we changed our roof from brown to gray, and you just have to go in and say, we want to change it this color, and they'll be like, why? Because we want to. And they're like, okay. But our neighbors are trying to get a tree cut down, and they're like, but why? It's because it sucks. And so we haven't had to put up too much of a fight with them yet. And I also haven't been focusing on the exterior. That's kind of lower on my priorities. So I'll let you know when we get there in like 3 years.
I've heard that they like have made a stink, like the Columbia Association used to make a stink about like when shutters were painted differently than the color they were intended to be.
Yeah, we have a kind of little small deck patio type thing, and when we bought the house, the only thing that was not completely settled was that the owners had repainted the patio beige number 2 instead of beige number 1, and so they came by and made a whole stink about that and got that taken care of. But yeah, we haven't had to deal with it yet. So
Wow.
our house is just brown, but I've been chipping away.
Does it look like does it look like one of those houses that looks like a cabin in the woods? There's a lot of Columbia homes look like that.
Kinda, yeah. It kind of looks more like a Pizza Hut from the outside.
That's fantastic.
I love that so much. That's great. I love seeing one of my biggest joys in life is seeing buildings like restaurants and stuff that I know used to be a different restaurant. Yeah. Like you see a building and you're like, that used to be a Pizza Hut, or that used to be a Friendly's.
Are you talking about the Della Rosa's pub in Honey Go Village that used to be a Wendy's?
That is oh no, so it was a Wendy's, and then it was
a Geno's.
It was Geno's. Yeah. And it is, we actually, Frankie and I went there a couple months ago actually, with her family, and
it's weird.
It's very weird. Like it does not feel like it should be a full bar and restaurant.
It's like you sit in the booths and it's like the tables are so far, and it's like, I should be eating fries. And then when you pull into the parking lot, the drive-through window is still there. Yeah, they don't even make an effort to get rid of it. Like,
do they still have like the tables from Wendy's with like the old classified ads?
No, they don't. No, they have new tables, but it like just from the outside, like there's in Jessup, there's like a Lima's Chicken that I'm like, yep. You used to be a Friendly's. You were 100% a Friendly's.
I know it. I feel it in my bones. This was a Friendly's.
Yeah. In Catonsville, they took an old Friendly's and
I know exactly what Friendly's
what you're talking about. The State Fair place.
Yep. Like, it's so weird because I used to go in there and like that Friendly's was very unsanitary. and I would go in there with my family from time to time, and it just wasn't well maintained.
Yeah.
And now you go in there, and it's got this rock and roll aesthetic, and it's got this hangout vibe, and it's like,
Giant screens.
yep. And it's like got paintings of rock stars throughout the last 50 years. And it's like, oh yeah, I used to be able to get a peanut butter and chocolate sundae here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like sometimes I'll like go, like there's a place down in outside of College Park that used to be a Pizza Hut, but now it's like this Greek place. It might even be a Peruvian chicken place, kind of like Lima's.
Yeah.
But and like you look at it and you go, oh yeah, like I used to play video games in there.
Yeah.
And now there's like a smoke smell coming out of there.
Yeah. I forget what brought us to that. I'm sorry. What did I
One of your joys seeing, like, because her home looks like an old Pizza Hut.
Oh, that's right. Yes. What have about your home? You've done a lot of renovation projects since you guys have bought that place.
Yes.
What has been your favorite thing that you've done, and what's like what's your next on the to-do list of big things you want to do?
The room that I'm sitting in, we painted this.
It's hideous.
And it was
It's so ugly.
well, it used all the walls. They paint the walls this like standard taupe because it's neutral or something, and it looked like a dirty Band-Aid. And we've got these. I can actually flip the camera.
Please do. I want to see this. Let's see this dirty Band-Aid.
Well, no, so it's not like that anymore.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But we've got these really tall, like 20-foot ceilings, and we're like, how the hell are we gonna paint that? And so we bought just kind of dropped $200 on a scaffold. Who has a scaffold? We have a scaffold.
You've got a scaffold.
If you need one, we'll roll it over. But we bought a scaffold, and I think it was my favorite project because I made a Google spreadsheet, and I had my loving friends sign up for time slots that they would come and help us paint. That's great. Because I'm not going to buy 10 paint rollers and paint trays and all that. Like we had 5 paint rollers and sticks and whatever. So I would have it so that the time slots would stagger and they would flow in as the other people are flowing out, and they would hand off their paintbrushes to the next person. And so we had the steady flow of friends coming throughout the day, and we had food on the table, we had beer, and it was just throughout the day. Everyone was just helping us paint, and it was a mess. I had to go back and touch up some things the next day, but it made a lot of memories because, I don't know, these are people who love us, and we would not have been able to do like this room, like all of this or all of that or all of that. We couldn't have done that without them. We did it in 2 days time. Without, otherwise would have had to get professional painters, and I don't believe in contracting people. But so that was my favorite project, and because it just completely transformed this room. Nice. And I spend the most time here.
Well, if I promise that if you and Neil come watch wrestling with Frankie and I will come and help you with any project that you have.
That is a deal.
Yeah.
That is too good of a deal.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, we wanted to start on the kitchen this summer.
Okay.
Neil has said with the state of the economy that may or may not push things back just to make sure we're padded and we're good. We might not want to be dropping money on a kitchen renovation in a way, depending on how this all pans out.
That's a very Neil statement, I feel like.
It is a Neil statement.
Depending on the economy, we'll maybe have to change our plans. Yeah.
And so, yeah, the kitchen, it's so funny because when we were starting the house hunting process, our realtor's like, what do you need? And I was like, I cook a lot. I would like a good kitchen. And what we ended up getting was a house that had everything else that was perfect, but the kitchen is garbage. It's like a small galley kitchen, and I have no counter space. I mean, I'm making it work, Tim Gunn voice, but I can't wait we plan on ripping it out, like sledgehammer, and starting entirely from scratch and getting the blueprints and stuff.
Nice.
And so I'm excited about making it a more functional space.
That's cool. I like that. Do you think, are there any questions that we missed? Like, is there anything that do you feel like we sufficiently dove into how you get out of bed and what gets you out of bed?
I don't know. We talked about wrestling. That doesn't get me out of
Well, what gets you out of bed? What else are we missing? Come on, girl.
No, I think we covered the bases.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Jesus, my family. I like to cook for people and make things look nice.
That's great. Those are all great things. Is there anything else that you think helps? Like anything else you want to share?
The sunshine.
Like just seeing it or being out in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a
Knowing
favorite?
that it's there.
We have a lot of windows. We have giant, like huge windows in this house, and so it's really nice just to, I don't know. I feel like a plant. Oh, I get up for my plants. I have to water them.
Oh my gosh, why the heck haven't we talked about plants yet?
Let me tell you, we fostered a dog for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he was legitimately making me get out of bed because we'd have to walk him. And then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. He was so cute, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, do your plants get you out of bed though?
They do. I have to water them.
What do you have a lot of plants? Like what kinds do you like?
I like the dark, earthy, rubbery ones. The podcast can't see this, but there's that tree and that thing and that thing and this thing and those and those and those.
Well, we will post a video version of this, so the video people will get to see all of those beautiful plants you just shared with us.
It was our most experienced version of the pod last week, right?
Oh, yeah.
What was the video version? Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook, right?
Yeah. So we'll make sure people see your plants.
Okay.
No.
I'm sorry if it's, they're just what gets me out. Really basic things. I'm not the most exciting.
Yeah, human things.
Wait, why are you sorry about that? Those are all good things. They are things that should get you out of bed. We love that.
I really should have thought about it more because you did tell me to think about it and I forgot. But here we are.
Yeah, that's life though.
Yeah, that's life. That's great.
Like I forget a lot of things and have to apologize to my wife, so it's all good.
It's a good trait.
Exactly. And the thing is that we will do more episodes of this. So if you think of more things that get you out of bed, we'll just have you on for a second episode.
Okay. Sounds good.
But you did great. Thank you so much, Vivian.
I really thought when you reached out to me, I was like, he's out of friends.
I mean, I was out of friends. I had nobody else. And so I'm like, crap. Who does weird Twitter polls?
Great. Now I'm going to get this increase in followers because they want to argue about what their favorite pasta sauce is.
Yeah. But by the way, what is it before we leave? Last question. What is your favorite Twitter poll that you have done?
Might have been flats or drums on a chicken wing.
Flats or drums. Okay. Matt, what is your answer to that?
Drums. They're all day.
Oh gosh, I'm so angry right now. I'm furious.
It's flats.
It's flats. Flats is the correct answer.
There's no meat.
There is, and there's more skin surface area. It grabs more sauce. It gets crisp. Whereas the drum part is always dry.
Oh, no. It's reverse. Flats go dry. Drumsticks are juicy.
Okay, but here, let me just tell you something. With a drumstick, can you do this?
Or do where you pop it in and you pull it out.
Yeah.
And it's like
it just makes two. It makes two meat lollipops.
It's jerk. Flats are like eating a crab claw, like the end of it, a crab claw, like the middle, the between the ligament, and then the drumstick is when you get into a crab and all of a sudden you pull out a huge chunk.
Yeah, but when you eat a drum, there's always that like chewy, tendony part at the end that you have to spit out. Whereas with the flat, it's like, hello, skin, meat, flavor.
No.
So, Vivian, you have been here for your first episode and actually Matt's last episode. So this is great. We're
All right,
never
I'll
going to
keep
see
the brisket to myself.
We're never going to see Matt again. Thank you so much for being on. Vivian, before you go, are there any things you want to plug other than your amazing Twitter polls?
No, I think it's just the Twitter polls.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being on. We will plug your Twitter polls in the description below. Matt, do you have anything you want to share before we leave, or any other questions you have for Vivian?
Nope, we're good. This is fun.
Perfect.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
You too.
Thank you so much, Vivian. We will definitely have you on again, and we want to have Neil on too to hear the white man's perspective about the whole kidnapping the bride thing.
Because we haven't had enough white man's perspective on this show.
That's true. If there's one thing,
definitively a podcast.
Yeah, if there's one thing podcasts need more of, it's white man perspective.
More white guys with goofy haircuts and glasses giving their opinions.
And their craft, cocktail or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thank you, Vivian, for joining us for Out of Bed. Thank you, Matt, for being my lovely co-host. Go back to sleep. We're in a quarantine. You don't need to get out of bed for anything. It's fun. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.